Excellent. Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. It's a real personal pleasure for me to see the Sydney Dialogue come together with such a great audience and such great speakers this year, as we are principal sponsor of the event. But today it is a real joy for me to be on the stage with my friend Dr. Lee, who I spent some time with in Taipei earlier this year. The session is Designing Technology for Democracy. I think, as we've heard from the last panel and in Alex's introductory remarks, we all know that technology has had profound implications for democracy. With digital technologies, we put broadcast tools in the hands of anyone who's connected to the internet. We've opened up governments to greater transparency than ever before, and we've eliminated the gap between public officials and the community. In many ways, though, the early days of promise about how technology was going to support and enable democracy have turned to despair. The potential for mass connectivity to empower the voiceless, to create new opportunities for participatory democracy, to democratise democracy, have in many ways been thwarted by anti-democratic forces. When you think about the late 90s and the tech utopian narratives that were espoused in things like the Declaration on the Future of the Internet, some of those look embarrassingly naive at this point. Turns out if you put broadcast tools in the hands of all humans, many people will use them to spread lies and falsehoods. Many of them will use to bully and harass. Something that's really struck me is the work that the International Parliamentary Union has done on the participation of women in democracy, and showing that is looking like that is going into decline, largely because of the harassment and abuse that females seeking public office are subjected to online, and that online violence can very quickly turn to physical violence. We've seen governments really effectively repurpose tools or develop tools for surveillance, coercion, and to actually make their citizens fear participating in democracy online. So there is the potential benefits, the opportunities for empowerment, but then there is the dark side where we're actually seeing real damage, real attack on our democracies globally. I think there's no better partner to have this conversation with than Taiwan. Taiwan is a young democracy and it is subject to relentless pressure. We all know the geopolitical circumstances in which Taiwan operates, and when I was visiting Taipei, the constant refrain I heard was that cybersecurity is national security. Yep. So, I have some questions to Dr. Lee to talk about how Taiwan is using technology, taking advantage of technology, and tying to its agenda to protect and preserve its democracy. So, Dr. Lee, could you tell us a bit about how Taiwan's harnessed technology to support some of your really interesting and innovative aims at participatory democracy?
Okay. Thank you. It's my great honor to be here. Thanks, Braden and SP, to arrange these conversations. And actually, the economics have labeled Taiwan as the most dangerous place on earth. But in fact, in reality, I really think Taiwan is an extraordinary place. And we have to face the force of natures, like the earthquake, typhoon, but also the modern threat from our big neighbor. Actually, the cyber attack happened every second in Taiwan. And all of this actually make Taiwan have to become a very strong country. And also we use the democratic election that will strengthen our democracy resistance. And for example, in the COVID-19, we have to control the pandemic outbreak. And we developed the app called the social distance tracking. And we track the because you can track the case, but at the same time, we also consider the privacy preserving. The data have to be deleted in 2 weeks, because after 2 weeks you can identify who is affected by the COVID. So I would like to say, when you try to use technology to solve a problem in front of you, at the same time you have to consider the human right. Because in Taiwan, we do think the human right is very important, and that's the core value to the whole countries. So we cannot, just because of COVID-19 pandemic, we ignore the privacy issues. That's one thing. But when you consider this kind of constraint, actually that makes the problem become difficult to solve. Okay, so you have to use the AI, use the top programmer to consider all the situation to prevent you hurt the human right. That's the example. And talk about the AI, because in the previous section, actually AI right now, everyone talk about AI. I remember Jason Huang say that Taiwan actually born for AI, because you can find AI in Taiwan's world. But not only that, Taiwan is quite famous in the semiconductor industry. We have a TSMC that's this industry. Most of the GPU actually produced in Taiwan, and most of server like you use in actually produced in Taiwan too. So whenever you use a ChatGPT or you use a Google search, the server actually made in Taiwan. So that means Taiwan is participant in the whole AI supply chains. And in order to achieve this status, we actually not only focus on the technology, we should do a very good management. And also, because that's critical point, we play a critical role in this industry. So I do think we need to protect our industry in the cyberspace too, because whenever you can protect your cyberspace security, then people can trust the supply chain is trustable. So, when we talk about the democracy technology, Taiwan actually is the best place you can visit. And I always told my friend, Taiwan now is the largest honeypot in the world. So if you want to do the research on cybersecurity, welcome to Taiwan.
That's the place.
Yes.
Thank you. I think that's probably right. Well, you mentioned the relentless, pervasive nature of cyber attacks that Taiwan is experiencing. I think we've seen in Taiwan foreign interference through digital technologies has also been something you experienced. You held elections earlier this year. Yep. There was a lot of analysis, as our audience would know, expressing concern about how Taiwan would protect itself from cyber attacks affecting your election and participation, but also disinformation efforts and attempts by foreign actors to interfere in your democratic processes. Could you talk a little bit about how you saw that playing out, how the elections went, and what lessons Taiwan's learned about protecting its democracy?
Okay, the election is a really, really big challenge, but you can see Taiwan already finished a couple of times, including the parties, right? And when the election campaign, actually, we always enhance the security attention level. So we watch out all of the cybersecurity activities. But we also have a system that can watch whether or not there is the inverse operation in the social media. And in Taiwan, we have freedom to speak anything on the internet, but we cannot allow people spread the disinformation, rumors on the internet and social media as well. So imagine that in the Facebook, We actually have a system. We collect the public information from Facebook fan page, and we can build the network and also do the search on this network. And if, for example, if you put the name of the Lai Qingde, then you will see the different class structure. Talk about Lai Qingde. Some people will propose will support Lai Qingde, and there are another party actually against Lai Qingde. But if you see there are some information that's increased rapidly, and you can identify the abnormal behavior. And if there's something wrong, then different party can make try to classify the fact. So that's the way you have to watch out the activity on the social media without hurt the speech of freedoms. That's quite important things.
It's an incredible success, I think, that you had. You've talked a bit about artificial intelligence already, and Taiwan is central to the development of AIs, with TSMC producing many of the leading GPUs, which are crucial. We are in a bit of a hype cycle around AI. I think there's a lot of debate about when we will start to see genuine the AI revolution applied in our economic productivity and in other tools. But already one of the ways that we see AI tools manifest in our world is generative AI producing content. You told me a story in Taipei when we sat down for dinner about the challenge that Taiwan foresaw with the development of Chinese language large learning models. And you told me the story of your personal role in the development of Tide. So I'd like you to talk a little bit about the development of Tide, why Taiwan and you in particular recognize this as a strategic, not just opportunity, but as a strategic imperative as we saw AI tools getting developed.
Okay, thank you for your question. Actually, AI will change our life. I heard this statement a couple of years ago, but AI did not change my life until 2022, November 30. Okay, that's the day OpenAI released ChatGPT. Since that day, I played ChatGPT for a long time, every day. So that's increased the conversation between me and my wife. So that really AI changed my life. I feel that. But when I play the ChatGPT, it's always after second 1 or 2 rounds, the simple Chinese appear. So I can understand the simple Chinese a little bit, but I'm aware of when we use the large language model, when we use the AI, Gen AI, that possibly have certain risk in behind. For example, by the way, at that time, Taiwan is suffering about the TikTok, but because we are a democracy country, we cannot just ban the TikTok. So we only restrict the government officer use the TikTok, but we cannot ban the TikTok in Taiwan. And I heard the news at the beginning of 2023, the Baidu will release the Iron Bot in March. So I approached to the Minister Wu Zhenzong. I told him if all of Taiwanese people use the chatbot from the mainland China, then the China will know what we think. Not only that, they will teach how to do. So that will become a national security. So because we are a democracy country, the only way we can solve this problem is we should have our own dialogue engine, our large language model. With that, people can make the choice, right? If our model is more close to the Taiwan style, so people tend to use our large language model instead of the instead of large language model from mainland China. So Mr. Wu gave me this mission. So I start the the large language model called TIDE, we name it Trustworthy AI Dialogue Engines. So we collect the data from Taiwan, and we also train this model actually based on Meta Llama 2, that's the open source and can be commercial use. I think if we can build the large language model by our own, although that's based on the Llama families, but we try to make all of the data is legal to use, and that can benefit the whole societies. And there's a professor from Stanford asked me why you have to build your own large language model. You just change the font from simple Chinese to traditional Chinese. That's the easiest way to do that. But if you think about what the large language model mean, actually there are a lot of your culture in behind. So I remember the NVIDIA CEO Jason Huang, actually he mentioned that every country needs to have their AI infrastructure. I know he is a very good salesman. He tried to marketing the NVIDIA. But indeed, he mentioned that the AI infrastructure have the economic potential, but also can protect the country's culture. I think the TIDE actually really explain his argument. So that's quite important. Right now, we use TIDE applied to many areas for Taiwan only. For example, the education and also the legal system. Actually, every country have their own system in legal system. So I really believe that the TIDE actually is the foundation of the sovereignty of AI in Taiwan. Yes.
It's a fascinating story, and you've really hit on a couple of, I think, challenges that many of us in the room think about, including we are democracies, we have free markets with rules underpinning them, but the choices made by technology companies in those free markets do have implications for our security, sovereignty, democracy. So government control or authoritarian control of the technology market is not something that anyone wants, but finding ways to have a role in the development and design choices that have implications for our societies is a legitimate role of government. Are there any other future areas of technology where you think there will be implications from the design choices that are being made today by technology companies that governments should be thinking about, or that you, as you have started in government only recently, are turning your mind to?
Okay. And people talk about quantum computing recently, right? That's become a very important technology breakthrough. Although we don't see, I don't think the quantum computer will appear in very short time. But we have to imagine that when the quantum computer appear, all of the current cryptography system will be hurt, will be broken. So in Taiwan, we also spend a lot of time on post-quantum cryptography. Right. That's the way to protect our features.
Yes.
So NIST in the US just announced the standard, and Taiwan researchers also participate in these competitions. That's PQC is important.
Yes.
And the second thing is about privacy preserving. And people talk about quantum homomorphic in cryptography systems. That can be enhanced the privacy preserving, also can protect your data, your privacy. So we also do that kind of investment. And the third thing is about, you mentioned the disinformation, defect, this kind of thing. We really think we can apply the AI technology to solve the problem. But at the same time, we do realize the potential risk of artificial intelligence. There are some cybersecurity issues on AI as well. So we still do some research on this area. So from government point of view, we encourage the innovation, we encourage new technology, but we still need we still need some teams to watch out all of new technology, the potential risk in behind, and to make the public awareness when they use a new technology, what kind of risk they have to take.
Yes. Excellent. Look, that's been fantastic. I think the message that design choices matter and are a matter for public policy in the sense that it is a conversation between government and industry and the community about how we shape technology that supports the rights, the values, the privacy, the democracy that we hold dear. We now have a little bit of time for some questions, so I'm going to open up to the floor and invite you. I know blood sugar levels are low immediately before lunch, but let's see if you can come up with some incisive questions. Where are we? Who's got a mic? Here we go.
Thank you, Brendan. Thank you, personally. Lennon Chen from Deakin Cyber Research and Innovation Center. I think this more try to that personally to talk about more on AI and election. Well, policy in recent Taiwan election, AI and deepfake has been used greatly in trying to influence the result of the election. Can you touch on some of the examples or cases that you've been that you have observed, and what you think countries like Australia, the US, or even other countries who are going to have the election very soon in the coming half a year or year? Yes. Thank you.
Okay, I would like to say the deepfake technology actually make a big progress. But before our election is on January 13th, okay? So at that time, the deepfake technology actually did not too fancy. You can use AI to detect the deepfake. But I really think a deepfake is a future challenge. And before our election, and some people ask me how to prevent this kind of things. So I will suggest all of important message you would like to the public know that have to be multiple channel. You have to make a channel that the public can do the double check. And also the big news should be relied on only one resource. And I have this idea from the COVID-19 pandemic. We have every day the Minister of the Health have a report to the public. They announce we do it at 2 p.m. every day, and all of the TV channels record that. So it's very difficult to make the fake news or deepfake in these things, right? So when the election happens, you should let you convince the public know all of the important message. You can very easily confirm this information from different channels. So even that the video is deepfake, but you can find some other place can have the contradictory result. You can design that kind of message.
Excellent. Where else are we going?
Yeah.
Hi, thank you. Alana Ford. I'm with the Perth US Asia Centre and former Australian public servant. Democracy has been declining globally since about 2006, but Taiwan's actually been trending in the other direction. All the indicators are saying that democracy is actually improving and getting stronger in Taiwan. So I'm interested in your views in how we can actually use technology to be better democracies. How do we actually use it in a constructive way to become better at being democracies?
Okay. I think the democracy program is relatively slower than the technologies. And we always say, okay, people have to awareness on the disinformation or fake news, or people have to have the awareness on cybersecurity. I really think the education is quite important. You know, technology, we cannot control the speed, but we can educate our next generation used to live with new technology, such as AI. So I believe the education is very crucial to let you keep democracy and the technology at the same time. But I never expect we can make the big progress in democracy, make the society become very mature to against the defect or disinformation, this kind of thing. But I am quite opposite. If we do it for the young generation and keep doing that, we should make our generation can live with the new technology very well. That's my personal opinion.
Excellent. I mean, when we look at the education levels, I think in the digital literacy that we see, hopefully we get better at this. Hopefully we look back on the last 20 years and think, actually, things get a little bit loose, get a bit out of control there. Now we are more literate, we're more aware, we can rebuild some of those levels of trust that we've lost. Probably time for one more question. Cool.
Yes, hello. Thank you for an excellent session. My name's John West from the Asian Century Institute. My understanding is that the president's political party does not have a majority in the parliament of Taiwan. You know, the president's party, the DPP, I think, and I think the KMT has a majority in the parliament. Does that complicate your democracy and complicate the use of technology in the democracy?
That's a big challenge. Actually, the DPP actually suffering from this situation, but we cannot rely on the technology to solve this situation. I think the better negotiation and also find a common interest that these three parties can talk is more important. And currently the common interest is about the people's right, right? How to improve the people's life in Taiwan. That may be the largest common interest. But for example, if even in the voting system, right now we in the 立法院 election, actually we have some situation. They just raise the hand to pass some law, and obviously that's not maybe did not use the technology to do the democracy procedure. So we have some issues. So we send this case to the constitution law to let make the judgment. So I don't think currently we can use technology to solve the problem, but conversation, negotiation, and find a common interest might be the way to solve the problems.
I think that's an amazing note to finish on, Dr. Lee, talking about how some of our ancient human practices and traits for building community, for supporting rights, are what will hold us in good stead in this digital technology age. So I'd like to thank you very much for your candour, for a great conversation. I'd like to thank everyone for the questions, and put your hands together for Dr. Lee.